Hi, my name is Timothy, and I'm here to present on my uh, quantitative one quantitative one assignment one, and I'm from class VO5. Okay, I'm going to show how I inserted the data. I saved the data. I saved the link from the internet, and I went to data, and I click on text. Then they showed me this sign, and I find where my link was saved at. Yeah. For question 1 part 1, they asked me to find median. They asked me to find which region has the worst and the best air quality, and thus I found the median and the mean to prove that it is to prove which is the worst and the one with the best PSI. Like for over here, for example, for north, I did a equals average, and I went over to the data, and I clicked on the whole column for north, and I computed it. Yeah, and I pressed enter, and they give me this result. So this can be done for south, east, and west. Yeah, and thus justifying that it because the lower the mean, the lowest mean is east, and the highest mean is west. Yeah, which is 34. And I found the lowest median by using the same thing, just typing equals median, and I did the same thing as I did for the mean. And the lowest median is east, and the lowest highest median is west. Yeah. So what I did for this, I was able to know from the mean and median which has the best and the worst PSI. The best, which would be the east, and the worst PSI will be the west. So east has the better air quality, and west has the worst, because the higher the PSI, the worse the air quality. So the better the lower the PSI, the better the air quality. And I tried to find the standard deviation to see how reliable the data is. So over here, I found out that the lowest standard deviation is central, which is 22. Yeah, and what I did was I did a standard deviation equals, from here you can see std dv.s, and I used s because it was a sample, and because it is a sample, that's why I used s. Yeah. And thus I did the same thing, but same thing, I highlighted the row which is needed, and overall I find out that the central has the lowest standard deviation, and south has the highest standard deviation. For variance, I found that by using variance var.s, same as population, same as, because it's a sample, that's why I did .s, and lowest variance, and I highlighted the whole row, and I found out. So lowest variance is central, highest variance is south. And over here I can find out that central has the best standard deviation, and south has the worst standard deviation. And this shows how that central is the most reliable and south is the least reliable. And because east and west are not the lowest, thus we can see that it's reliable. Then I moved on to question 1 part 2, where I show the maximum of the PSI for the west region, where max of PSI, I had to check for value field settings and click max, and they gave me the values. And for rows I used date, and thus I got these values. Then I inserted, and I did a chart over here which shows me the values of all the daily maximum of the worst PSI and worst air quality, which is the PSI west. Then I move on to question 2, where mean I'm supposed to find is like the previous question, equals average, and I had to, but for this question I had to type the whole data, so I had to highlight the whole data and press enter to get this value. For alpha, I did a 1 minus 0.95 as 0.95 the confidence interval, like over here 95% confidence interval. Standard deviation, I did standard deviation dot p, because p is a population, as you're going to use the whole data, and I click the whole data and I press enter. Sample size, I use a count, and I click the whole data and they give me 16280. Then I computed the 95% confidence interval by clicking equals confidence, then alpha, which is B3, standard deviation of B4, and sample size B5. As you can see, there's a comma, yeah. And for PSI more than 30, I did a daily maximum for everything, where as you can see, max of PSI east, north, west, south, and central is at values, and date is at rows. Then I found this is done by a pivot table. As you can see, it's a pivot table, and minimum is by using equals mean. Then I highlighted this and I pressed enter, and I did for all the datas for all the days, and then I highlighted the one that is between July and August, which is the first, and all the way down to the 31st of August. And then I computed by using count if, which is more which one is more than 30, and I got 13. I did it for the same for September and October. Count if, I entered the data and I changed comma more than 30. Then they asked for the next question. I made a null hypothesis where I see that there is no significant difference between the PSI from July to August, which is more than 30, and PSI from September to October more than 30. So I did an alpha, which is 0.01, which is also the significant difference, and they said the significant difference is 1%, so I did a 0.01. The PSI, I did a B9 over B2 to find the probability, and the size I did 62, so it was 13 over 62. Then PSI for September and October, I did B10, which is 11 over 61, which is the size. Then I did a lower z value, which is normal dot s dot inverse 0.01 divided by 2, which is 0.05, and I did an upper z value, which is 1 minus 0.05. Then I did a test statistic where July to August supposed to subtract with this over square root of B16 would be this one, PSI July to August over 1 minus the same thing over the size, and plus B19 is this one, which is the September to October probability, times 1 minus the probability over the size. And then I made a hypothesis where I accepted the null hypothesis since the test statistic is within lower and upper value. I had to accept the null hypothesis, and thus no significant difference between PSI from July to August more than 30 and PSI from September to October. Thank you.